wellness coach online will sell you a gut reset. But here's what your microbiome actually looks like when you have Crohn's disease, and why most of what they're selling won't even touch it. In Crohn's, the microbial ecosystem is altered in specific, measurable ways, and knowing exactly what those changes are is the only way to figure out what's actually worth doing about it. Now, we kind of had this conversation, my husband and I, about 20 years ago before his third surgery. We were suspecting that some symptoms, they were signaling things beyond inflammation, but we didn't understand. During my son's journey for diagnosis, I tried to have the microbiome conversation with his GI. The blank look I received, and I was actually just dismissed for asking such a stupid question, was a really pivotal moment for me. So I decided to do some research myself. And I actually discovered, which you guys can do as well with a little bit of reading, is there's some actually significant information available and also research to do with Crohn's disease and microbiomes. So here's the honest picture. As I said, we were ignored by our gastroenterologists, but that's because they are focused on controlling inflammation and preventing complications. And when you think about it, that's exactly what they should be doing. But there is a growing body of research which shows that people with Crohn's consistently present with reduced overall microbial diversity. They have a significant drop in beneficial bacteria and an overgrowth of pro-inflammatory bacteria. These aren't wellness blog talking points. They appear in peer-reviewed gastroenterology literature. The problem isn't that your GI ignores this. The problem is that the wellness industry spotted the gap and filled it with products that have no evidence in Crohn's specifically. So, dysbiosis in Crohn's has three measurable patterns: low diversity, low bacteria, and high bacteria that causes inflammation. Low bacteria, which protects your microbiome. And knowing which pattern matters for intervention is very, very important. So the bacteria that becomes low has a very significant role in beauty rate and mucosal protection. That's in plain language. So what we need to do is separate some signals from marketing. Most commercial gut reset protocols are tested in healthy adults or IBS patients. And for those of us with knowledge of Crohn's disease or having Crohn's disease yourself, what's got nothing to do with you. The symptoms aren't the same, the situation isn't the same, and you don't have all the other things going on as well. So the populations are very different, and the evidence, of course, doesn't transfer, and you guys, you know that. So a specific product category that I have seen clients spending money on is lots of probiotics that allegedly are going to cure and heal your microbiome. But the evidence doesn't actually support that it's going to do that in Crohn's disease. What you need to do is have dietary fiber diversity. Now, obviously, if you're in a flare, if you have other things going on, these things need to be also taken into account. But we need diversity in our fiber. We need specific probiotic strains, and some of these have Crohn's trial data. And we also need to reduce ultra-processed foods because that is what is showing as the most credible research, but none of it replaces medical treatment. Okay, so with my son, we tried to have diversity in what he was eating. We tried to ensure that he was giving probiotic strains that were going to be beneficial, and that's what you guys need to do. So, where do we go from here? You need to understand that these kinds of questions are able to be brought up with your GI, or if you're seeing a dietitian, or if you're seeing a naturopath. But you need to be very specific in what you're asking them. Your GI, firstly, may roll their eyes. You need to tell them, but there's actually some pretty good peer-reviewed research out there saying this kind of stuff can help me. Once you start using peer-reviewed research, that's going to trigger something in them and they might start to listen. What I want you to understand is these things are not going to be a substitute for your medical treatment. There is nothing on the market that is a substitute. And I know we've all seen the videos and the pages, and I know they're giving people hope. And to be honest, we've been sucked into them too. You should see the things that we've bought over the last 30 years. It's probably a little bit embarrassing, but we're all looking for something that is actually going to help. But we know there's no cure for Crohn's disease at this point. We can be in remission, and that's the goal: long-term, deep remission. So, with my husband being flare free for 20 years, we've learned a lot over that time. We've learned what supports him and what also doesn't support him. And I think understanding what cured looks like in real life is actually the key. Things change over time, and what works one time, sometimes we've discovered later on down the track we're not having the same success or benefit. So you need to have someone that's going to actually look at your specific situation, and I think that's the biggest hurdle for people with Crohn's disease. There is not take this one size fits all and you're going to be fine, because we know that's not what happens. So I wish I had understood this like 20 years ago, but we learn as we go. And that's also an important thing. Be hopeful, be positive, but be logical and be sensible and try. I mean, we still fall for things sometimes, let's be honest. There is not going to be a magic pill out there. Well, there's not a magic pill for anything. So if you want to go deeper into this, please reach out, because I'm going to do some more videos about that. So just subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to drop some questions in below, well, I'll have a look at them as well. I'll see you in the next video, and have a beautiful day. And remember, you have got this, and you can get into remission and live a happy and healthy life.